Welcome to the Somehow Together podcast, where we explore faith, connection, and everything that holds us together. I'm Erica.
And I'm Miranda.
Life is messy.
And relationships are messy.
But we weren't meant to do this life alone.
And God, He is still working in the middle of it all.
So we're still showing up.
Somehow together.
Good morning and welcome back to the Somehow Together podcast. Miranda, are you excited to be talking today?
So excited.
Well, this is our first episode recording while in different states. And so it looks a little different. We're not next to each other where we can go knock on the door of the room that each of us is in at the church office. We are literally states away right now. How do you feel like you're settling in?
Mostly okay. I haven't been here much because I went back to Washington for a little bit for some super awesome Savannah Bananas games, and also then traveled back for a youth conference that I was a part of helping at. And so I feel like I just got here and everything's unpacked. So that's nice. So I feel settled as far as like in my home, but not really in life.
Sure,
in Utah yet.
You haven't found your place and all of the routines and friends and all the new things yet. Job, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the important things. People and money.
People and money. That actually does matter, right?
Unfortunately.
Yes. Well, I hope that you find your place soon, so that you can feel more settled. So I am thankful for technology so that we can still chat and see each other when we're far away from each other.
I know.
So that's something that's bringing me joy today. Yes. Well, in the last month or so, I kept coming across this theme in the podcasts I was listening to and the material I was reading, and I thought we would benefit from talking about it today on our podcast. And the theme is showing up and giving our all to something. I thought that it would be especially fun because when I think about somebody who gives their all and shows up, I think of you. And so from like worshiping alongside you in worship services to attending Savannah Banana baseball games together and shouting out song lyrics, I feel like you know what it means to give your all to something. I also feel like when I show up, I'm kind of an all or nothing person. Like if I believe something is worth my time and energy, I'm going to show up and give my all, especially if I think it's important or fun. And I will do it. And so I think it would be fun for us to chat about what it means to give our all. When I say that phrase, show up and give it your all, what do you think that means? What comes to mind for you?
Oh, man. Mostly what comes to mind are stupid cliches.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to dig a little bit deeper than that. For me, when we talk about showing up and giving your all, I think it's showing up and being authentically yourself in a space.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we have a tendency as people to try to read the room and see what will be appropriate for any given situation or space. And I do think that there are cases where we do and should do that. I used to joke in college, one of my theme quotes was maturity is knowing when and where to be mature. But there are places where it is okay to let your hair down, so to speak, or to let loose and just have a good time. And then there are places where you move into where you need to be a little bit maybe more reserved or reverent or whatever that looks like or means. But so I think in spaces, it's learning how to give authentically all of yourself to a thing without necessarily being ridiculous. Like I think I know when I can be ridiculous and when I can pull back from being ridiculous, like Savannah Banana games versus worship. But I would say that I show up the same in both of those places and still give my all. So I do think that it is more about the posture and your true, authentic self and not holding back in the space that you are in. I think.
Yeah, I love that. I'm thinking, yes, it's like your ability to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Also, so you're not detached in some way. You're fully engaging in the activity or the conversation that you're having. That you're not thinking about other responsibilities. You're just in the moment, being present, right?
Yeah,
Like
I like
you're
that.
showing up, and then giving your all is like willing to maybe even risk like showing that you care, right? Showing
Yeah.
that you have like passion or intense feelings about this situation or this
Yeah.
person. There's a lot of vulnerability, I think, with showing up and giving your all.
Yeah, I think you're right, because there is this underlying fear, I think, sometimes of, well, what are people going to think
Mm-hmm.
about me if I do it
Mm-hmm.
this way? Or um, are they going to look at me different? Or are they going to be judging me or whatever? And
Mm-hmm.
so to show up and give it your all and be completely, I like how you said presence is a key factor to that, because I do think that that is a part of it. But yeah, like pushing out the fears associated with
Yeah. Yeah.
all of
And
that.
then also a lot of times it's like showing that you are excited about it or that you care,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For me, I just keep wanting to go, oh, I feel this, it's something deep. I'm like, wholehearted living is like showing up and showing that you care and that it matters. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, and letting your face know it, like letting people see it on your face, right? Like it's okay to show that
Yeah.
you're excited, letting your, like, I don't know, embodying the fun. People can sometimes be around you like, yeah, that was entertaining. I'm like, I wouldn't know that you thought it was entertaining, because they
Oh
just
my gosh.
sit
Yes.
there. I'm like, sometimes it's okay to laugh out loud. I have one friend I can think of right now that I sat next to her in a comedy show, and she was laughing out so loud. And I'm like, oh, I want to sit by her at all comedy shows. Like it's like, because you could tell she was having fun. I'm like, sometimes you just have to
Yeah.
express it and show it. But I think that expression is what's vulnerable for people sometimes. So,
Yeah. I actually thought of Nate when you said that, because we have a running joke. We've been married for almost 19 years now.
mhm.
And and in our marriage, we have this joke. I mean, maybe it's less of a joke and more reality at this point, but I
Yeah.
still kind of make fun of him for it. But and he has actually gotten better, because he knows that it is important to me. But I used to ask him all the time, like, are you even enjoying yourself right now? And he goes, yeah, I am. Or did you like that gift? Yeah, I loved it. Are you sure? Because I can't tell, because and he would always joke like, well, this is my happy face or this is my excited face. And it looks the same as his I'm mad face and his I'm driving down the road face. And
Yeah.
like, he just doesn't have a lot of affect change in his face when there's like different things. And so
Mhm.
he started learning to be like, and like give like facial expressions a little bit more. Now they're like more comedic, like,
Yeah.
because they're over the top. But I'm like, could you give me something
Yeah.
over here? And
Yeah.
so he has learned. But that's our joke, is like, well, this is my
Yeah.
happy face.
Yeah. And maybe people are showing up and that is them, and they're um more like sitting back and really taking everything in. I mean, my
Yeah.
husband's kind of like that, like
Yeah.
me, and I think there are moments where, like, if something is really powerful or meaningful, like I'm listening to an amazing speaker or God is really working on my heart, I might be like very much you might not see anything on my face. I might just be very
Right.
intensely focused, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I don't know. I don't want to judge people's what they look like in their presence, but like um sometimes it just matters if you're showing up and like fully expressing yourself and fully embracing the moment, I guess.
Yeah. And I think for me, so much of it is connection with other people too, that I do
Mhm.
find myself sometimes. Sorry, I am regaining my voice after
Uh,
a week of screaming. So, anyway, I find myself looking, if I'm enjoying myself, I'll look around me, especially if I'm with somebody that I know, to see
yeah,
like, hey, are they having fun too?
sure.
Because I get so much enjoyment out of so many things in life that I just want people to feel the same sense of like happiness and joy that I am getting.
Yeah.
And so I do tend to look around and be like, this is great, right? And
Mhm.
it's probably annoying for people, but whatever. I do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I do
So
think
when I'm
that.
looking at you, if we're
Mhm.
doing something fun together, it's not because I'm judging you. It's because I'm like, let's be in this together. Like
Are
there's
you
this sense
getting
of like
this? Yeah.
togetherness in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think that things are, and we'll find out later as we talk through, our podcast, that connection is what matters to me. It's like helping you to also be there. That's part of me showing up wholeheartedly, is like walking with you in this moment. So, all right. So can you think of a specific way or a specific example where you show up, where you think that you give your all?
Just one example. There's so many. No, I think I'm going to use a recent one, and I know we're going to probably talk about it a lot because it's one of my favorite things, but definitely Savannah Bananas.
Okay.
You've been to games with me, so you know. I don't even know how to describe the ridiculousness that comes out. It's just an environment infused with not just me giving it my all, but I think a large majority of the people. Although, okay, this is a PSA for those going to Savannah Bananas games and not giving it your all. Please don't sit down next to me. And I know you don't know where I will be in the stadium, but I will absolutely know if you're sitting down in front of, behind, or to the side of me and you do not express yourself.
You will be annoyed by us, like standing up and singing. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel kind of bad for those who have to sit next to us and put up with our crazy, but that's part of the fun of it, right? Is showing up, singing, seat dancing, because there's not a lot of space to actually dance, nor would anybody actually want me to actually dance, but it's just a super fun environment, and it does make it easy to give it your all. So that is definitely the easy answer for a place where it's easy to give it your all. But I definitely think that is where some of my most fun, like, inner me comes out, because the environment allows for it. And there is literally, I mean, there's things you can't do, obviously, that I wouldn't do, but it really is a give it your all type of environment, and it's set up that way. And so it makes it easy and fun to do it.
I think so. I think it's, as adults, we don't get a lot of opportunities to play and have fun, right? And so I think it's this playfulness in us that wants to come out and, like, let loose and giggle and sing at the top of our lungs. It's something about play, right? Play is healing. And so the Savannah Bananas is I was actually said to somebody, it feels like adult VBS. Like, like how for VBS, we like sing really loud. We try to get the kids to do it, and we do all kinds of actions and motions. And I'm like, Savannah Banana games, it's like an easy place. Like there's no judgment. Well, maybe people are judging us. I don't know. But it's the norm to be singing out loud and to be dancing and moving. And it just is a really fun place to play. So
I love that you said that. I think for me, being in ministry and chaplaincy and doing the work that I do, and you similarly, even with the mental health side of things as a counselor, we see and experience so much seriousness in our everyday life that when we get opportunities for like joyous, fun play, I feel like we just have to take advantage of it. Like, for sure.
And give our whole heart to it, right?
Yes. To the point where I'll go to 2 games in one weekend and sign up for, I saw that they're coming to Salt Lake City. And so I signed up on the wait list for when they release tickets, because hello, I didn't know they were coming here. And I'm like, another opportunity to be able to go to a game. Maybe this time I might take Nate. We'll see.
You didn't know that you were going to Salt Lake City. That's why you didn't look at Salt Lake City.
That's probably true. I didn't look. I did look when I got back from the game and was like, yes, there is some. And so when people release them, I might get a couple. We'll see. I'll go by myself even. That's a thing. And I think, like, while it is fun to go with other people who will like share in that experience with you, this is an area where I can go by myself and still have a lot
and
of
still
fun.
Play.
Yeah.
There's so much entertainment happening all at once. Some people feel overstimulated. I felt alive, but
I do not feel overstimulated.
No. No. And I do think because we give our all so much of the time to ministry and sitting with people and having hard conversations, that we have to do that. But I also enjoy and am privileged to give my all or sit in with my whole heart in moments like that are serious and hard.
Yes.
And am thankful. I don't know. I love people deeply, and I keep.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to keep trying sometimes when things are hard, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't see change, or people are making a mess of things.
Yeah.
So, but it's also this privilege that I get to sit in those moments with people, and I feel like I show up and give my whole heart in those moments, which makes the necessary, Savannah Bananas necessary, as a
Yes.
part of my mental health. So.
Almost more of a reward. No,
Yes.
just kidding. Because I would do it anyway, right? Like, I love that you brought in being able to show up and give your all, not just in moments of fun. Because I do think that's where our brains go to first.
Mm-hmm.
But the important places, while fun, aren't going to be the Savannah Banana games. It's going to be the conversations that we have with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the moments where we get to sit in the hard with others and be completely present in there, so that they're not questioning or wondering. I hate when people apologize to me for, I'm sorry, I know you're so busy. No,
Mm-hmm.
in this moment, there is nothing more important than what's right in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And you know that too, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're very much the same way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do feel like I have a career, but I give my heart, to the people I work with.
Yeah.
And I give my heart to ministry. And
Yes.
I really want people to know Jesus.
Yeah.
And so there's an all or nothing part of I'm not going to go into anything. I've never done a job that I haven't given 100% to. It's like,
yeah.
But it's also because I always work with people. And so every chance I have to talk to someone or have a real conversation with someone, it feels very important. And there's a lot of risks that come with giving your all, but we'll talk about that later too. Okay, so the Savannah Bananas, right? They put their heart into every game because their core philosophy is fans first, entertain always.
Yes.
Rather than prioritizing championships, their stated mission is to create lifelong fans by delivering joyful, unforgettable experiences through their high-energy, trick-played-filled style of banana ball. They also do this nonprofit called Bananas Foster, which they promote and they support foster care or families that are involved in foster care, which I think is really, really cool. What do you think you love most about the Savannah Banana Games and how they model heart and giving their all for us?
What I admire most is that they have made it's not accidental. It's very intentional. That they have created something for people that is like a cultivated environment for heart. And I mean, I have seen interviews with players. I've followed some of their stuff for years. Like before I even knew you could attend a game.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've been watching them for a long time.
This is amazing. And I think that's what I love about it is it's not just it doesn't appear to be from like the top down, like this is the mandate from like the corporation all the way down to the players. But it appears as if every single part of the organization also has this at their core philosophy. And so therefore it creates an intentional environment for other people to also show up and give it their all. And it shows.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just like bad baseball with fun dance moves either. Like they do give
baseball.
their heart to baseball as well. And as well as the fun parts of it too.
Yeah. I think the first time I looked up Savannah Bananas, or I saw something on probably social media and I looked up their game, they were playing in small auditoriums or baseball fields like the Iowa Cubs Stadium in Des Moines. I think that's the first one I looked at trying to go to or attending. And I'm like, that's a long time ago that that they were out there, but they've grown so much. There's something they're doing right because people are craving this fun. They're craving this playfulness that adults struggle to find in very many settings. So if people don't know, a lot of church functions allow for this also, like kids camp and teen camp and stuff like that. But if you think about, if you're not involved in a church setting or helping with youth somewhere, I don't even know where you would find this level of play for adults.
Yeah, I don't.
I also think it's cool that they bring this, they're showing up to sports differently, right? Like,
yes.
Sports is so competitive and it's about winning and being your best athletic self, which there's good in that. I'm not saying there's not.
For sure.
But they're still showing up as athletes, but bringing a new element to it, like something really, really fun. And I just, and they're showing new skills, different skills. I don't know. There's something just really special about them. I don't even know how to describe it.
There is. And even just watching, because you don't even, during a game, you don't even know where to look because there's the baseball on the field. Like there's just stuff everywhere
happening. A song's being choreographed.
Yeah. Yes. It's chaos. It's chaos. However, it's cultivated chaos, so it makes it a little bit better.
Intentional.
But it's watching some of the unscripted stuff on the sidelines. What I really liked about the last game that we went to, there were no dugouts. And so the players were all like behind the barricades on the sidelines. And so depending on where you sat, you could see kind of in their dugout section, whatever that was. And I loved watching just some of the player interactions or the mascot interactions or even the player interactions between teams, because even if they're not on the same team, they're owned by the same organization and they know each other.
They're encouraging each other.
Yeah. And so it's not just like team against team. It really is like on the field, we are all one team, one family, and we're just here to play a good game for our fans. And we want to make sure that our fans enjoy themselves, which means we on the field have to enjoy ourselves. And baseball is one of my favorite sports. I played fast pitch in college, all the way up through college. And so baseball is like my heart sport. And so I love what they have created.
I know. Thanks, Savannah Bananas.
Yes.
We love it. Thanks.
Hopefully I'll see you in Salt Lake City in a few weeks.
Let me know when you're going.
August 13th.
Yeah. Is it when it is?
Probably by the time this airs, actually. I'll be there that weekend.
That'd be awesome. Take some pictures and video.
Oh, I will.
So, yeah.
I will.
All right. So I don't know if you've heard me talk about Brené Brown, or have you heard of Brené Brown?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, she's one of my favorite researchers, authors. I use a lot of her information that she puts out in therapy when I work with people. But she's an acclaimed researcher, author, and professor who spent over two decades studying courage, vulnerability, shame, and empathy in Texas. I love her books, and I just feel like we can learn a lot from her. In a recent episode of The Diary of a CEO, have you ever seen that podcast?
I have not.
Also very, very good.
I'm putting it on my list.
She said that joy is the most vulnerable emotion. Why do you think that expressing joy feels so vulnerable?
I think we already kind of touched on it a little bit, because there's this, I think that joy, because joy comes from deep inside of us, there is this vulnerability that comes with joy. Like we are exposing a part of ourselves that not a lot of people get to experience. It's not happiness. That is something a little bit different, but it is something that is like deeply centered in who we are as people. And so to express that means that we are opening ourselves up to potential judgment or correction or criticism or comparison. And so we tend to hold back some of the parts of us that we fear may be targeted by other people. And so I do think that is probably a part of joy, being a vulnerability. And I do think, again, like we said earlier, fear is probably what holds us back from expressing joy the most.
Yeah.
I think. Like, what do you think about that? Like, how would you describe that for yourself?
Which part?
The part about just what like, why is joy
Why is it vulnerable?
vulnerable? Yeah.
I feel like, and I think Brené Brown, she says that joy is the most vulnerable emotion because it highlights what we stand to lose. And
Ooh, I like that.
And I remember when I became a parent, and we've talked a little bit about our histories and things like that, and I had a lot of hurt and pain and related to my family relationships and stuff. But I think I remember having my kids, right? And like when they're little and they would rely on you, and you're loving this being so much, this little person, and you're like, it almost makes you afraid. And you find that people really do get paralyzed by anxiety when it comes to parenting, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because I mean, I feel like it's this love that's deeper than we've ever experienced before. And so I think that but I'm also like, do I live in that fear of like, what if I lose this, or what if I mess something up, or do I learn to just really embrace the joy of parenting and like really like having fun with watching my toddler do funny things and being cute and or her, and it's the same with Easton, but it's also like the more I love them, the more I know it will hurt if anything happens in our relationship or anything happens to them, right? It's this fear that lives in us of giving somebody or something our whole heart. And I think we're more likely to do that with our children than anyone else. Like we just love our kids so deeply, I think. Most days. Anyway. But right, it's this vulnerable. It's vulnerable because it highlights what we stand to lose.
Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to think when we open ourselves up in that way to joy. I actually am reminded of the movie In and Out and the emotions there, and how when sadness creeps in and she touches all of the memories and things go from being joyful and happy to being super sad and depressing.
Oh yeah.
But it's not until that joy and sadness come together to create those new core memories where you see the loss that was associated then with the joy that comes with it. And that's really hard, I think, especially when people are going through really difficult circumstances, to be able to know and see and feel where the joy is in that. And yet it does create this more full human experience with the broad range of emotions. And so but there is something to lose there. Like you said, I like that. I like her definition of that.
Yeah. It is. So it's vulnerable. Giving our whole hearts is vulnerable.
And nobody likes to be vulnerable.
No, we always self-protect. It's hard.
All the time.
Yeah.
We're wired for it.
So she goes on to say that our inability to express emotions and show that we really, really care about something actually indicates a skill deficit. So what areas do you feel like we need to grow in before we can show that we really care about something? Especially care about something deeply, right?
Emotional intelligence and emotional wellness. I think that is an area that we have to be able to address and tap into if we are going to show that we care about things deeply. When we are self-protective, when we do not allow ourselves to experience life, whether that is the hard things or the mountaintop moments or the valleys, we are really narrowing our ability to tap into emotional regulation in the most narrowest of ways. And when you are in that narrow window, it is really hard to experience the fullness of what God has for our lives. One of my favorite verses is, I think it's John 10:10. Don't quote me on that. You can look it up. But it's, I have come so that you may have life and have life abundant. That for me is one of my core verses. Like that is what the Lord has for us, is an abundant life. And we cannot have an abundant life if we do not allow ourselves to grow in our ability to emotionally regulate, to notice and express emotions, whether those are negative or positive. We're taught to, from a very young age, I think, culture wide, to not express ourselves. And so when we shut down our negative emotions because those are associated with bad things, we also shut down our ability to access and express the positive emotions and experiences such as joy. And so I do think that we have to grow in our ability to recognize and express both sides of our emotional spectrums.
I know. Yeah. Learning to tolerate the discomfort around things that are not that are not the way we expected. Right.
Yeah.
People might be judging us in this moment. And we have to learn to tolerate that. This person might not like me today.
Yep.
And I have to learn to tolerate that. And it's not fun to tolerate those things, but it's learning how to regulate our emotions with God's help. And I love being pulled in scripture. He's the one that helps us, right? I have heard 1,000 times, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right?
Yep.
But I thought of that as a few years ago, I was being hurt by several people over and over again. And I kept thinking, why do I keep trying? This is crazy. Crazy people, insane people do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Why do I keep doing this? And so it's but then I started working on myself. I started working with God on regulating my emotions, seeing his truth and trying to see things from his perspective, see those people from his perspective.
Yeah.
And I went through a study on Joshua recently that was be strong and courageous. And for me, being strong and courageous was to keep showing up in these relationships. Now, I'm not saying you don't set boundaries with unhealthy people. I'm not saying that.
For
sure.
I
also am going to keep trying to build relationships with people, even though on a regular people disappoint us. It's I'm not giving up on people. Right. Which, yeah. At one point I was like, I'm insane. Why do I keep doing this?
Why? But it's not settling into the discomfort necessarily, because you don't necessarily want to stay there.
No.
But it is
tolerate it.
It's learning how to tolerate it, how to move through it in healthy ways. And I think that when we do that, we actually begin to become more resilient people.
Yeah.
Right? Which is necessary in a world that is broken and full of hard things. Yeah. We're never going to avoid discomfort. It can be uncomfortable. I do remember this. I remember coming to Ridge Naz for the first time as a community member.
Sure.
I think it was our second Sunday in Ridgefield that we lived there. And I don't like to worship sitting down. I am a stand-up worshiper. It really
worshiper?
I don't feel worshiper. I don't feel like I can fully be in worship and sit down. I have learned now over the years that there are times to sit down and how to use that space as time with me and God. But at the time, it was just not something I did. And I remember we had this at the church. We had this routine where we'd do 2 songs and then you'd kind of sit down for the third or whatever. I can't really exactly remember. But I remember sitting down for the first time in a song, the next worship song that came on. And I looked at Nate and my literally my knees are shaking. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And so Nate looks at me and I look at him, and that thought of, are people going to look at me weird if I'm the only one standing? Because obviously you're going to see me because everybody else is sitting down. And in that moment, I made a choice to not care what other people thought about me, because I felt like this is how I wanted to worship God. And so I stood up in the sanctuary where everybody else was sitting, and it was wonderful. And I continued to do that week after week after week. But the interesting thing, and not that I'm not tooting my horn because I'm a trendsetter or whatever.
No.
But other people would also stand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like one person being brave and courageous gave permission for other people to do what they felt like they needed to do for worship as well, but they just weren't sure how to do it on their own. And then all of a sudden you have this community of worshipers who some are sitting, some are standing, and it at least, you know, but that's not about me. It's about me being true to what I felt God was prompting me to do in that moment and not caring about what is going on around me. And that's hard because that vulnerability says like, stay down, like don't expose yourself. Just who cares? Like it's one song, you'll get over it. You'll stand at the end of the service.
Yes, that's awesome. And it's helped me worship better. So thank you. So Brené Brown talks about and being brave as a skill set that we need to learn, not a feeling. A lot of people trust their gut, right? Or their feelings and listen to it, and they miss out on a lot. So she talks about like trying to develop these skills, and she uses this, I don't know, you call it acronym when you have the words. So I don't even know.
Yeah,
I think so. Anyway,
I think it's an acronym.
You know what I'm talking about? Where the word is braving, and and then each letter of the word braving stands for something. So B is boundaries, clearly communicating what is and isn't okay. R is reliability, doing what you say you will do. A is accountability, owning your mistakes, apologizing, and making amends. V is vault, keeping confidences and not sharing information that isn't yours to share. I is integrity, choosing courage over comfort and practicing your values. N is non-judgment, asking for what you need and allowing others to do the same without judgment. And G is generosity, assuming the most generous interpretation of the intentions and words of others. It's a lot of really cool stuff.
I love it.
You can find a lot more of her stuff and how to build these skill sets to being brave, to fighting against, conforming and learning insecurities and stuff. It's all really, really good stuff. What do you feel like is the cost of not showing up or giving your all in something? What's the cost of not learning to trust ourselves or trust others and express our joy?
One of the things that I think showing up and trusting and expressing our joy and giving our all allows for us to do is to be connected and integrated with all of who we are as a person. And so I'm afraid that the cost of not showing up and giving your all means that you have to constantly sacrifice a piece of who you are. And over time, that piece that you sacrifice almost becomes non-existent, and it's really hard to find again. And yet we were created to be an integrated person. We weren't created just to live in silos and pockets of ourselves. We were created for joy. We were created to walk through hard things. We were created for community. We were created for this life and life abundant, this fullness of life that has been offered to us. And so I think that the cost of not showing up in that way is a sacrifice to yourself. And I do think over time that also means that relationships begin to suffer, whether that is yours with other people or your relationship with God. Because how do you show up and give something your all and be present and be fully who you are in situations with others if you don't know what that looks like for yourself, or if you're so used to cutting that part of yourself off? And so I think it's vital that we actually learn to trust ourselves and trust and express our joy, because it is a part of who we are. And to not do that means that we are kind of becoming, I don't want to say dead inside. that might be a little extreme, but maybe not. Maybe not. Something goes away that is supposed to be there. And I've seen it in people who have struggled with joy. And one of the first things you notice is like, oh, the light came back. Like that's how it's expressed, is this like light in your eyes or the fire in your soul. Like you can tell when people are living into the fullness of who they are and when they are not. Yeah. And
go ahead. As I say, what we practice grows stronger, right? And so when we're practicing withholding ourselves or editing ourselves or filtering our joy.
Yeah.
And you know, all of the time, because we're worried about other people or we're worried about what they're thinking about us, then that grows strong in us.
Right.
And then we do that every moment. And then we find ourselves shrinking back and we lose touch with those healthy parts of ourselves, those resilient parts of ourselves, those brave parts of ourselves.
Yeah. And I do think that we then move into spaces more cautiously and with more comparison and less grace for other people, more judgment. Because if we are so worried about being judged ourselves, why is that? Right?
Because we're evaluating
it's
everything,
because
right?
we're looking at other people and we, even though we don't want to and we don't desire to judge them, we learn that judgment from somewhere.
Yeah. I keep thinking like, how people will stop being creative if they're always, you know, shut down. People are going to stop being their authentic self. I think that also people like watch reels and videos all the time trying to live life through other people's life experiences, right? And so I think that everybody knows there's this thing inside of them that's missing. I'm going to say everybody. I don't know about everybody, but you know what I mean? People in general, people a lot feel like there's this thing inside them that's not being fulfilled that they want to have. They laugh at funny reels. They want to have joy, but it's people are struggling to live it out in their everyday. And I think when we don't figure that out or figure out ways to do that, we miss out on something really special.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we've already touched on this. You've said this, but one last thing that I've learned from Brené Brown that I want to mention is that the opposite of belonging is fitting in. Fitting in is blending in and trying to look like everyone else. Belonging is a freedom to be ourselves. We want people to feel like they belong in our church families, in our family, our friend groups. How do you think we can encourage others to be their authentic selves?
I think one of the most powerful things we can do to encourage others to be to be their authentic selves is for us to model that. We really underestimate the power of modeling. We talk about it a lot when we're raising kids and when kids are young. We're like, well, do the things you want them to do. If you don't want them to stand on the table, you can't yell at them to not stand on the table, but then stand on the table. They're more apt to do what they see you doing versus doing what you tell them to do. And so I do think that one of the most powerful ways we can encourage other people is through the art of modeling it for ourselves. And so I like to think that I'm a good model in that way, and that it gives then permission for other people to live that way as well. Not that I'm perfect at it. There are definitely times where I'm in a situation or a circumstance and I'm like, ooh, what do I do here? Or I feel like I should be doing something and I choose not to because I'm uncomfortable and I don't press into the uncomfortability. And so it's not that I'm perfect, but I do, as a life rule, try to be and show up authentically as myself.
I also think we can notice the strengths that other people bring, and when they are showing up and like really encouraging them to do that, and just like appreciating the contributions they're making to our family, to our church, and just the noticing, I think, helps reinforce their effort to try. Right?
Yeah.
We just want to keep encouraging people.
Yeah, that idea. I mean, I won't talk a lot about mirror neurons in our brain.
Yeah.
But that's that modeling piece, right? We see somebody doing something and it gives us permission to do it. But coupled with that verbal encouragement too is that not necessarily approval, but it's the validation that, oh, when I did what I saw being done and I heard that it was good, it just re-cements those neurons in our brains and our pathways. And then every time it happens, it encourages us to continue going that way.
Yeah. And the other part of modeling, I think, is risk, being willing to take risks, right?
Yeah.
Is like not just showing up in the ways we're used to showing up, but like sometimes it's like being vulnerable and sharing the thing that's hard to share, or saying me too, or
Mm-hmm.
trying to create a podcast and putting yourself out on the airwaves. I don't know. It's like doing the thing that feels very emotionally risky, right?
Yeah.
It's that. It's not
Yeah.
always the fitting in and blending in. It's the next hard thing. I've been watching You Row Kelsey, I think is what it's called. Have you watched anything about this?
No.
It's this lady who is the first American woman to row solo from California to Hawaii.
Okay.
And she did like an update every day. And so I was watching it as she would do updates on, I think it was on Facebook Reels or Instagram. Anyway, and she actually ended up breaking not just the women's world record, but the like all world records and getting there and stuff. But she talked about a lot about finding your hard thing and then doing the hard thing, right? It's like, yes, I'm all about that. Like, what is the next hard thing that I need to try? Not too soon. We're just starting this podcast.
We're just starting a hard thing. I'm doing multiple hard things at once.
That's true. You are. You're like
hard things.
You're like,
I don't want it anymore. It's too hard.
But yes, it's just.
I was watching
the brave. It's being brave. So yeah,
it is. It is. This has nothing to do with being brave. But I was watching a movie recently, and in it is a podcaster, and someone's asking him like, what qualifications do you have to start a podcast? And I'm like dying. I'm like, oh my gosh, please do not list off all of these qualifications that I do not have.
We got this many.
To be a podcaster. And he goes, nothing. You don't need anything. And I was like, yes, nailed it.
You need bravery.
That is true. You need and vulnerability, right? Like it is vulnerable sitting behind a mic. And we've even talked about what does it look like to integrate video into this, and that's scary. And
yeah, it's another thing we have to learn. We've learned so much this year. I don't want to keep learning.
We're tapped out on hard things, but
yes,
but it's true, right? Like. What we are doing for us, for somebody else may not seem like a big deal, but for us, we are definitely stepping well outside our comfort zone and showing up in a new space in order to hopefully encourage other people who may be navigating similar things that we have either already navigated or are currently navigating in life. As well. Or have yet to navigate.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a podcast. It could be just inviting someone to tea, right?
Like, yeah.
That is hard for some people, but it's showing up. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. Yeah. And God's with you every step of the way. And
yes. Yeah. And I do think another thing with belonging is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the sense that we're not alone in it. And that requires each person to kind of be a little bit vulnerable. Not that you have to. I love that she talks about the boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, all those things. Because not that you show up constantly in those spaces with unfiltered vulnerability, right? Like I actually heard it said, my counselor actually told me that there's a difference between vulnerability and transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency is showing everything. Vulnerability is sharing what's appropriate in the moments with those who you feel like you want to share with, right? But there's this difference between like transparency, which is you get to see all of my life, and vulnerability, which means that I get to share those parts of my hard life, with you. Anyway, I love that. But that's an aside.
Yeah. But I love that.
Both people have to be willing to show up and be vulnerable because if you don't, that vulnerability piece is absent, and we don't find that same sense of belonging.
Yeah. No, I agree. So what's one way that you feel like God might be challenging you or teaching you to show up and giving your all, or risking joy, being brave? I mean, you just literally moved into a new city, so maybe that's
easy for me. Or hard. I'm not sure.
The answer is easy. The journey's hard, right?
Correct. Yeah. The answer is easy. Well, I'm in a new place, and I don't say that flippantly. Actually, this last week, I was at a conference with 10,000 students from around the United States and Canada. And during one of the worship sets one of the mornings, I was praying, like truly, I was like, Lord, I actually don't want to be here. Not at the conference. I love
Right.
conferences. I love camps. I love things like that. But I don't actually want to move. Like, I don't want to be here as in like, as my home.
Yeah.
And just give me a heart for the people. Like, let me see the people in this community the way that you see them. Let me love them the way that you love them. Help me to show up for these people the way that you would want me to show up. Because for me, people, you and I, we've talked about this, like, people for us is it. Like, again, I'm never too busy to sit down and have that conversation with somebody. And until I find that heart and desire for the people here, I think I will struggle because my people aren't here. I have to figure out what community looks like. I have to figure out what worship looks like, serving, all of the things that I feel I'm called to do in my life. Now that I'm not in the place in which those things have been established, what does that look like for me now? And so I think that is what he's asking me to do, is continue to keep showing up here the same way I would show up anywhere, and be willing to cultivate those relationships and not be afraid to go talk to my neighbors or have that conversation with a stranger, because everybody is a stranger to me at this point. So
well, I'll be praying for you. Yeah, that is not easy. It's hard when you're in the midst of, we've talked in the July episodes, we talk about the heart of goodbyes and grief, right? And it's hard to keep. And I just mentioned it today. It feels a little bit crazy to keep trying in relationships when a lot of times they end in pain or say goodbye or whatever it is. But that's what God wants for us, and he still has good things in the midst of the hard. So,
and it's been harder too, because I think sometimes when we move, we know we're moving into something specific, and then that is where you're going to find that community piece and that togetherness. I didn't come into this move with that at all. And so I'm still waiting on a lot of those pieces to fall into place, and not just waiting passively, but like waiting with anticipation of what God is going to do and where he's going to lead me. But still, to do that meant having to walk away from a lot of people and a lot of other things as well. So, well, I don't know. It's hard.
Praying for you as you navigate that, and that God will keep working on your heart so that you can love those people as much as you've loved us in Washington.
I know. So. And it's not that I don't love them.
I know.
Don't know them.
It's true. But you have to have that want to keep trying and engage the relationship and put yourself out there and all that. It's hard.
Yeah. What about you? How do you feel like God's calling you to show up?
I feel like it's in relationships a lot, but one of the things that I've been doing in the last year, and it's been facilitated by one of our church members, is exercising in front of a group of friends and women. And moving in front of people, like moving my body in front of people, has always felt vulnerable. Like, I've never been somebody that like likes to exercise at the gym, or even though I've done that at times, or been like, I don't run with, like, for a while I was running and like I did that all by myself because I didn't want anybody to see me, because I'm not really good at physical activity anyway, or so I thought. And so I've been doing this class, and we do hard movements, we exercise, but it's just this whole idea, and it's a group of women, but it's just this idea of moving my body and doing hard things in the presence of other people, and other women. And so, and it's spiritually grounded, these practices. And so I like that. And it's helped shift my view of exercise and my body. And there's a lot of really good things that have come out of it, but it feels vulnerable to exercise in front of people. And so, but it brings me a lot of joy, and I get to see those faces when I do it. And so, it's just weekly, during different chunks of the year. And so, anyway, as soon as another class opens up, I'll be there. So,
nice.
Yeah. Well, it's been really good talking to you today. Just FYI, we have no idea how many times we're going to chunk up this episode because we've had to pause it several times. Being in our homes for the first time with distractions and internet connections and things like that. So we apologize if there's big weird chunks out of our episode, but it's still been a really, really good conversation, I think.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, I'm going to ask our somehow together question of the day. If you could bring back any fashion trend, what would it be and why?
I have a zero idea. Literally been thinking, I don't know. Like, I have, no, I'm like, no, I don't even know that moo-moos was a thing for me.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like past, not just like things that I've lived through, but other generation or
other
time
people.
periods. Yeah.
Love the 50s flappers outfits.
Yeah. There's got to be, I don't know. Maybe people hate me for this. Maybe the poodle skirt era. I don't know. There was something like fun and free about that. But then they didn't wear pants. I'm like, do I have to sacrifice the pants in order to have the poodle skirts? Or can we just like normalize it all? I do know that as I've watched the 90s trends come back into fashion right now, there's a little part of me that's a little bit happy, but there's a bigger part of me that's like, we worked really hard to kill some of this stuff and now it's been resurrected and it's back to life, only worse than it was
like
before.
The mullet and the rat tails. And stuff.
Yes. I'm like, I can't go to a store and find a full size shirt. They're all snack sizes. Like,
yes.
The crop top, right? Like, I'm like, why is this back? And where are the non-crop shirts? Like,
yes, yeah.
I need to cover all of my body.
I remember in like middle school, we would like tuck in flannels with thermal shirts and a t-shirt underneath. Like literally we had like 3 layers on top.
Layers.
And it was all tucked into our belts and then pulled out a little bit, and I was like thinking, I remember how uncomfortable that was to put that many layers tucked into my belt, like in my pants. I'm like, I think I liked some of the clothes then, but I did not like that feeling around my waist all the time. So I don't know. I haven't found a really great fashion I love.
I don't either. I do
flowy
like
clothes. Flowy
Which
is good.
ones?
The flowy clothes that we have now, the more baggy, I'm okay with some of that.
Yeah. I think my other problem is I've never been fashion forward. And so I will resist whatever fashion change happens for like ever. And then by the time I'm like, okay, fine, I'll buy that pair of skinny jeans. Well, now we're back to like baggy jeans.
I know. I was like, what?
I'm over here. Why are we getting rid of the skinny jeans? I just started liking them. And now I have to like baggy jeans.
I know. So I was thinking skinny jeans.
Just need to stay. Yes. At first I hated them. And now I'm like, why do we have to change a good thing up? Why can't we just stay here? And so I feel like I'm always behind. And then by the time I jump on board, something else is different. And I just can't. I see it in other people and think it's adorable. Oh my gosh, like that conference we went to and all the speakers, it seemed like all the speakers had on those baggy jeans with like baggy coats.
Barrel
and you look at them and it's like so adorable and cute, but then you try it on and you're like, ooh, not adorable and cute.
No.
And yet at some point that's all you can find in the stores. And it's like,
I know.
Just give me my skinny jeans back with my baggy coat.
That's true. That's why I say we should all just start wearing muumuus. I get so
uniforms
sick of fashion.
For
I know. Yes, fashions. It drives my husband crazy because of how much it costs. He's like, these clothes aren't even worn out yet, and I'm like, I know, but they're not in style now.
But they're not in style anymore. And when you are with teens and around teens and young adults, it is important that you don't look like
too old.
Yeah. I guess guys have it so much easier, and maybe not.
Oh yeah,
but I think they do.
It feels like they do.
I mean, Nate rotates around like the same 5 shirts for work.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Easy.
Monday is blue shirt, Tuesday.
Yeah.
He has more than that, but it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Okay. So we can't come up with any good answers for that question. But
no.
It was really good seeing you. And we'll talk to you soon.
See you too. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If this conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone you want to help feel a little less alone. And as you go into your week, ask yourself, where in my life do I need togetherness right now? And until next time, we are somehow together.